Welcome back to Capitol Tonight. Joining us from our D.C. Bureau is Texas Congressman Roger Williams, who's just back from a trip to the Texas-Mexico border. Thanks so much for being with us, Congressman.
Well, thank you.
Well, you were just in McAllen over the weekend, Friday, I believe, touring that border region, and also got a chance to see the new detention facility. Can you just talk to us a little bit about what you saw when you were there?
Well, we focused, we went down, we wanted to not only talk to the border agents, but also to some of the local officials and some of the community and volunteers. And we found out from the local communities, mainly the mayor of McAllen, that you know what they want. They're doing a fantastic job too with some tough circumstances. But you know what they want is they want to see these young people go through the process as quick as they can to begin to reunite them with their families. They also would love to see this 2008 law that's talked about a lot right now change, so the border folks have a little more flexibility to move some of these people through the system. And they're also really worried about the money they're out of right now. I mean, McAllen is projected to have $1.5 million in expense by the end of the year, and they don't know where it's coming from. The federal government hasn't talked to them about that at all. So local people are really concerned about that. And then we went to the center, as you mentioned, to visit with the Border Patrol, and what a job they are doing under some really, really tough circumstances. My hand goes out to the hard work and effort they're putting in. But you know what we saw, and quite frankly, to see young people like this that their families have spent their life savings and they're risking their lives to come over here. It's truly a tragedy. Of course, I would hope that President Obama, speaking about amnesty, and basically his administration inviting these people up here, is part of the problem we have. But what you see is a very organized facility that's separated, quite frankly, to age groups and sex, and to see these young people that want to realize a dream, it's hard, but at the same time, this is a land of law, and we've got to rule by the law. We've got to be able to process everybody and get them sent back and reunite them with their families. So I think we need to do that. The Border Patrol will tell you they need 1,000 more folks in the Border Patrol, which I think, frankly, could come from the military. Some of the pink slips that the President's giving to our military, we probably could use some of those experienced people in the Border Patrol. And, of course, yesterday, Governor Perry putting 1,000 more, or 1,000 National Guard down there the next 30 days was a wise move. And then they will also tell you about the 2008 law that will allow them to turn these folks around quicker, as if they were from Mexico or Canada, which they think is very, very important. So that's kind of where we are. The Border Patrol is doing a great job. They need help, and as a congressman representing Texas, I'm anxious to give them what they need.
Congressman, you spoke with some of the business leaders there, and some of whom are concerned about what closing the border could mean. Can you talk a little bit about what you were hearing from them and some of the ideas that, you know, might kind of ease their minds moving forward on that?
Well, that's a good question. The business community is worried because they're worried about it from an economic standpoint. If you just sealed off the border, there's a lot of trade going back and forth between the two countries every single day. One of the business leaders said, you know, we have 10,000 people a day going back and forth to our borders that are doing business with us, as opposed to the number of, you know, 800, 1,500 across the border illegally. So they're really concerned about squeezing it so tight that it becomes an economic issue for them, and I think that's a viable concern, certainly from the business community, that we have to make sure when we begin to tighten and strengthen the border and do what the federal government is supposed to do by protecting the border, that we don't cut out the economic value that the two countries bring to each other.
I mean, you're about to go on August recess shortly. Do you think anything can get done? And what do you guys do in Congress? Why not approve this $3.7 billion as requested from the President for the emergency funding?
Well, I think there's some things we could do. I think the first thing we could do was address this 2008 law that, as I said earlier, allows the Border Patrol to be more flexible and quicker on reuniting these people with their families. I'm not interested in giving President Obama a blank check for $3.7 billion. Because it doesn't really do anything to secure the border. It has expenses in there that have nothing to do with the situation that we find ourselves down there. So I think this can be handled by really folks on the laws that we have on the books. Why didn't somebody try that? Is working under the existing law that we have instead of trying to ask for more money, which doesn't fix the problem. So I think we can address this issue before we head out in August, but it necessarily doesn't get fixed by giving the President $3.7 billion.
Is there a proposal that you do support, perhaps the corn and Cuellar bill or anything along those lines?
Well, the corn and Cuellar bill is a great attempt to improve things. There are some issues there I have a problem with. What I would like to see is I'd like to see 1,000 more Border Patrol people on the border. That's a request from the Border Patrol. We're getting our 1,000 men from the National Guard from Governor 30 days. I'd like to see us address the 2008 law that will treat those coming over from non-contiguous countries like those that do come from contiguous countries. And I'd like to see how we're going to pay these communities back the money that they're out by doing a fantastic job under difficult circumstances. So that's kind of what I want to see happen, is more strength on the border per their request, and process these young men and women and these young children through quicker, and begin to get some similarity back at the border. You know, you go back in the 80s, you go back in the 90s, we had a lot of this problem, a lot of people coming over from Brazil at the time. But the Border Patrol would tell you the difference was they could turn them back around, and it would ease the pressure, because people found out you can't go to America and you can't stay in America. You've got to do it in a law-abiding way. I think we can begin that pretty easily, and begin to send that message and possibly slow the immigration down and save some of these people that are hurting themselves and actually dying and to get up here.
Congressman Williams, good luck there in Washington with the time that you have left. We thank you for being with us.